Alrighty. Welcome everybody to week 6 of Chasing the Delta. My name is Alex Patterson. I've got fellow graduate Chris Sierks here with me. Chris, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here at Summit Point Raceway. And to get us started off, I'm going to take you guys through a lap of the brilliant Summit Point, one of the greatest Miata tracks that are out there, with Kerry Nolan, who has been extremely quick around here so far. So Kerry's going to take turn 1. It is a hairpin. He's going to break right between the third and the second cone. He stays in second. Some people go down into first, but he's going to stay in second, take a little bit wider line around that turn 1. Now, this track, you are just on the limit of the Miata the entire time. It feels so good. He's going to have to do a slight break, get right up on the curb in third, make sure he doesn't get into the gravel on the side, and he does manage to do that. Now, the next one is hard. This is a full throttle right-hand click into a very awkward left-hander into a series of S's, and you're going to see these S's. He's going to go all the way down into first, and then from here all the way to the end of this part is flat. So he is going to be flat here, through here, and then all the way through here. And let me tell you, when you're in the Miata and you nail that section, it feels just amazing. And then the last section, it's debated whether you take this in third or fourth, but either way, there's no real breaking point. Kerry's going to slow down into third for this. And very, very well done. And we're going to see where that puts him at qualifying so far. And I do believe that is the fastest lap of the race so far. Very, very nicely done by him. So Summit Point, it's a simple track, one of the rookie tracks. It's in West Virginia, but it is just a brilliant Miata track. And the racing here, it's going to be close. It should be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to go. So as Jim Campbell goes ahead and takes pole, I'm going to take a look here at the weather. The weather is pretty perfect. Slightly cool track, 66 degrees, partly cloudy. So sun isn't out. It is a little bit humid, 72% humidity, but otherwise really, really nice track conditions for this race. So Chris, have you driven this combo at all?
Not much, honestly. I had just turned a few laps, honestly, for the first time in the Miata before hopping in here. And I was definitely missing out on some pace. I think there's some highly technical parts of this track. Just like most Miata tracks, they're the rookie level tracks. They're simple, but there's a lot of speed to be extracted by skilled drivers.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with it. This is one of the most popular Miata tracks as well. You know, when this is in the rookie Mazdas, 3 to 500 per race is typical for a sign up. And part of it is because it's not only is this a place where you can extract every little bit of pace out of the Miata, it is very satisfying to do so. Also, this track really does the fact that this is just a Miata spec race as opposed to like a multi-class race makes it a lot better because of the super long straight across the start-finish line. And we are going to see if there's anybody else out on the track. But right now, that is a Jim Campbell pole.
Yeah, kind of surprising. Jim is capable of some speed, some flashes of brilliance, but he beat out Kerry by just a few hundredths of a second, which kind of surprises me a little bit.
And Jim Campbell, I don't believe he's graduated yet. And that is has he graduated?
No, I do not believe he has. I think he's still a couple 100 I-rating short. Seems like one of those guys that's just kind of holding himself back by not participating in that many officials.
Yeah, get out there, Jim.
Yeah, but he's plenty skilled.
Yeah.
Definitely has the pace for it, for sure.
I mean, he won both Daytona races to start the season off, and he has been right up there. Just hasn't cracked that 2K barrier yet. PCC can be a bit of a bloodbath. So it's totally understandable that it is difficult, but he is on pole in what is a very, very close field. Kerry Nolan only 300s behind him. Behind them, Nick Drux and Kevin Cohen, two guys who are regularly at the front. They're separated by 200ths of a second behind them. Gray Calabria and Luke Severance separated by a couple hundredths of a second. I mean, this should be a pretty close race.
Yeah, I'm guessing from our gaps here from, let's see, your pole position is a 20.9 and then back to sixth place 21.1. So that's just 2/10 of a second separating the first six qualifiers there.
All right, well, we will just about be done with qualifying here, so we've got some time to kill. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about CTD. So CTD, Chasing the Delta, formerly a GT4 training academy. We did switch to the MX-5 this season. So we are on our 7th season, so we follow the iRacing schedule. For the MX-5, we follow the Production Cup schedule, or the Production Cup Challenge schedule, which is a multi-class race with the BMW M2, the Toyota GR86, the Renault Clio, and then finally the Mazda Miata MX-5. And our goal is to get players or get drivers who want to improve all the way up to the 2K I rating. So once they hit 2K I rating, they go from being an amateur to being a pro. Like if you go ahead and look at our overall positions here, the guys in green are amateurs, the guys in purple are pros. The pros are in the purple gang. And once people graduate, they are welcome to stick around. This is very much an academy first and a league second. So these guys are all teammates. We all spend our time in the Discord each week, helping each other get faster. This is it's friendly. It's good competition, but it is friendly competition. And today we will have two 20-minute races around Summit Point. So what we'll do is we'll run this first race, and then we will join a new session, and then they will qualify again, and then we will run another brand new race essentially. So yeah, what time is it? Because the headlights are on, and one of the, I would say, fatal flaws of the MX-5 is that they don't let you flash your headlights, and I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's honestly a crime against humanity that iRacing has not blessed us with the ability to flash the Miatas. So it looks like it's just short of 6 p.m. in game time. So the sun may be setting. It's actively setting in game, but shouldn't have darkness in this session, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the when sunset is, but Summit Point, a well-lit raceway, also not the most complicated raceway, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. We have had races go dark unexpectedly in CTD. I believe the Hockenheim race that we had was unexpectedly dark, and nobody was really ready for it, and that is a very twisty, turny course, and that was a difficult one. Were you there for that one?
Sounds like a... No, I believe I missed that one. Sounds like a fun twist, though. I love racing in the dark, personally.
Yeah. I do too, but it was definitely something you got to be prepared for. So yeah, just sort of as an update on where some of these guys are at right now. Jim Campbell's I rating is 1824, so he is knocking on the 2K door as this Gray Calabria, who is 1920. Steve Hill also all the way up to an 1893, which I believe is a personal best for him. So. Alex Lofi also at 1798. Jeremy Toasty, who is a graduate. He should be coded as a graduate here, but he's not for some reason. He's been as high as 23K, but yeah, I mean, this has been, we've got some guys knocking at the door of the Purple Gang, and we will accept them with open arms when they get there.
Absolutely.
As we watch the cars go ahead here, we are going to do a full pace lap because it's Summit Point and it won't take too long.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the first turn's going to go, but I'm really excited to see turns 5, 6, 7, and 8. That complex is kind of where I personally am missing speed And it seems like a couple of these guys got it figured out pretty well, but there's always that late dive bomb going into really any turn that you just cannot plan for.
Yeah, and it's the thing about those S's is that it depends on the I believe it's turn 6. You have to nail turn 6, otherwise the rest of the turns are shot.
Yeah.
The one they're actually going around now, if you can't get all the way out to the outside for this turn, then you're not going to be able to get to the inside for this turn, then you're not going to be able to get to the inside for this turn, then you're not going to get all the way out to the curb to take that flat. So your lap is basically predicated by how well you navigate turn 6, which is it's a difficult corner. The camber's all off. It's tough. And then this final corner here, there is 0 braking markers whatsoever, so you just got to learn it.
Yeah, this is definitely a feel section of the track for sure.
But alrighty, our pace car is off. Our pole sitter, Jim Campbell, will take us away. And off we go. Really, really nice start by Jim, but this is a long track.
Green flag.
And Kerry is already gaining in the draft. And Kerry, looks like he's going to push him for now, but I'm not sure whether he's going to try to dive him on the inside here into turn 1. Let's see. We are rolling into turn 1. So far, so good for everybody. Yeah, nicely done.
Everybody played nice.
Yeah, I
for
think
the first corner there.
I think you're right. I think the S's are going to be the first big test. Ooh, do here's some tire squealing. We do have somebody off. I believe that is Vibhab Narawanaswamy and James Cox, who had an issue there. Jeremy Toasty's down. Keith Winnup's down. Oh, that was a big crash. And that happened near the back of the field there. So unfortunately, we weren't able to capture it on camera, but that's at least 3 meatballs. Yeah, Chris, you go back. Like, what happened?
Looks like Vibe just got a little bit into the grass there going into the turn and over-rotated a little bit and a little bit of net code contact with James Cox there, and then it just kind of piled up from there. Big domino effect.
That is
unfortunately quite a narrow circuit. Not a lot of room to get around a pile up like that.
That is very unfortunate. Luckily, these guys get 255 fast repairs. So all will be well, as Kerry Nolan is going to take a look on the inside here from Jim Campbell and should go ahead and take him quite easily through turn 1. Very nicely done. We do have a big pack here. We have a pack of 8. And that will be Kerry Nolan, Jim Campbell, Nick Drux, Kevin Cohen, Greg Calabria, Jacob Green, Joseph Essinger, and Luke Severance. These guys are all very much used to being up here at the front. Behind them, we've got Alex Lofi and Slade Russell. Slade, quite new. Nice to see him here. And then Matthew Coley and Jeremy Melton in a pack behind them. But we are going to have one big pack battle here at the front.
Very tight 5-car battle so far. That ever important draft. And circuits like this, you just, unless you're super, super good through the rest of the circuit, the draft of these Miatas is so essential that it is very hard to get away.
Yeah, and especially on a track like this, like there is room for skill expression, but there's just not a lot of turns. So, no matter how well you do on the sort of the road part of this, the straight is there, and what you really need to do, and what Kerry's going to try to do here, is hopefully the guys behind him will start fighting, and we do see what is potentially a 3-wide situation going into turn 1, and that will benefit Kerry as Jim backs out.
Yep.
Nope, Jim's
having to take a shallow entrance into turn 1, and these guys are battling behind Kerry, so he has an opportunity to pull away here.
Yeah, there it is. So Jim did back out of that. That's going to put him in 4th, but that's okay. He's used to being in these packs. He did win both Daytona races, but ahead of him are Nick Drux and Greg Calabria.
So we're just looking to, if you're the second place car, you're looking to stay within that 1.5 second range, preferably under a second to the leader when you get onto that straightaway, so you can suck right back up to the rear bumper.
Absolutely. Nick Drux in the classic Marlboro McLaren livery. That's always really, really nice to see. Behind him, Jim Campbell in the classic CTD livery. Actually, this is not even the classic. That is the brand new CTD Season 7 livery. Joseph Essinger behind him in the sort of this blackened sort of snake. That's like the Kraken liquor, if I remember correctly. Kevin Cohen, who ran his GT4 with a Dale Earnhardt livery. But it just goes for the simple black. And then we've got Jacob Green. Jacob's got a pretty cool livery, if I remember correctly. Hard to see what it is in the dark. But it looks like Joseph
Taking a
Essinger
look here.
is falling back a little
going
bit.
into one. Oh.
And
Get through it cleanly, but that will allow Kerry to pull away once again.
Yeah, Kerry's doing a great job keeping that distance, and as long as Nick and Greg keep fighting and they don't work together, Kerry's going to be quite safe as long as he doesn't make a mistake. But, you know, these look simple. These are not simple corners. They're masterable. The Miata takes them brilliantly, but there is a lot of opportunity to mess these up, especially here, right? Because, like, this is a high-speed kink that you've got to get all the way out to the exit, and that is Kevin Cohen spinning out. Luckily did not damage the car there, but that is going to take him out of the front pack. Kevin, super fast, can be a bit mistake prone. Luckily this time he kept it out of the wall and out of anybody else, but that is going to simplify this pack as Luke, Jacob, and Joseph had to back out of there, and now we've got a 4-man fight. And that is only going to increase the pressure on Kerry, but Kerry could chill. You know, there's 14 minutes and 25 seconds left in this.
Yeah, Nick has been able to stay in the perfect draft position onto the main straight, and Kerry's blocking to the inside, but that does sacrifice your entry, your corner entry, which, you know, will sacrifice your exit. So you will be slow, and you can see everybody kind of gathered back up here. We're only 0.4 of a second between the leader and fourth place right now.
Yeah, this is very, very close as Kerry navigates turn 2 extremely well. And Greg's going to have a look up here. Doesn't seem to have anything, though, and he might just want to wait and see what these guys up in front do. Like, when you're pack racing, how much do you play the waiting game versus trying to get ahead?
It really depends on what position I'm in and kind of what's going on behind me. But if I feel like I'm going to have somebody who's going to be constantly diving me while I'm in second, allowing the leader to drive away, I would probably be pretty aggressive trying to get to the front, just so you don't lose that ever important draft.
Yeah, I tend to be a wait and see approach, especially if I identify anybody else in the pack as an idiot. I will try to let them go fight, and I will happily take the leftovers or give them hell closer to the end of the race. Both strategies are really good. We're going to have a 3-man train going into the turn 1 here.
Got a little bit of push the pusher going on here with Greg getting into Nick there. Seems like they're staying really close together. This race is far from over with just over 7 minutes completed so far. 13 minutes to go.
This is going to be a game of chicken going into turn 2. This is tough to take too wide, and Nick does it brilliantly. They all do it brilliantly, and Kerry is just going to keep the lead here going into the kink, and then the ladder S as part of this track into turn 5.
Good, clean, close racing through that section. Love to see that.
The other clear thing too is, you know, it's hard to tell whether Jacob and Luke and Joseph are catching up, but there is a possibility if these guys do keep fighting that the pack behind them are going to catch up and get right back in their draft. There's still a lot of time left.
You know, it does kind of appear that Jacob is catching a little bit. The first time I looked at him in 5th, he was 3.3 seconds back, and it looks like from Nick right now, he's 2.5. So if these guys keep battling, I think we'll see the lead pack kind of expand its number a little bit.
Yeah, and it does look like Luke had a problem there as Nick Drux is going to take the lead of the race on the straight and should get the inside track into turn 1, and Kerry going to challenge around the outside.
Greg with a huge run going into turn 1.
Oh. Look at him, just squeezing the Miata into the grass. Will he keep control of it? Yes, but it will sacrifice speed in order to do so. Jim Campbell on the inside as well. Greg's getting very squeezed. They all keep it together. And that is going to bring Jacob Green a couple tenths further up. That is actually going to bring him just about in the draft here.
Yeah, he made up about a second there from when I last checked.
Yeah, and that
so this close racing is not doing them any favors in adding to the battle here, but it's good for us.
Yeah, for now this is Greg Calabria and Nick Drux and Kerry Nolan fighting for P1 going through turn 6 through the S's. That's going to be Nick, Greg, Kerry, Jim on the inside, but hits the curb, and that's going to slow him down and make him put him under pressure by Jacob Green.
Jacob Green is well within draft distance of the car in front of him now, and I believe going into one here, we're going to see them all bunch back up.
Absolutely. This is going to be close. This is also, by the way, really the only battle we've got going on right now. Everybody else is a little bit more spread out, but this is this is pretty entertaining. And just to sort of have a look at the guys behind them, you can see there is quite a bit of space. So Joseph Essinger about 2.5 seconds back, and then Luke Severance about a second behind him. So it is possible for them to catch the pack, especially if they keep fighting. And once again, that's going to be carry on. Oh.
Looks like Jacob Green just kind of overdrove the turn a little bit and got into the right rear of Jim.
Right, but Jim is out. And Jim just got rear-ended by Alex Lofi, and that might be two meatballs.
No, kind of an unsafe rejoin there.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, Jim just kind of did not rejoin at the correct time, right into the racing line, and pulled right out in front of poor Lofi there.
Pepe sad. Well, that is going to make this now a 6-man race because we've got Nick Drux, Greg Calabria, Kerry Nolan, Jacob Green, Joseph Essinger, and then Luke Severance falling a little bit behind. But now we've got Joseph Essinger in the fight.
Yep, Greg's still right into the drafting range here. About a second back coming out of the final turn. So I believe he'll be able to get maybe 3 tenths back going into turn 1 just from the draft alone. So we'll see how Nick decides to take this turn here.
Nick has a potential here to really, if he puts in a good lap here, he does have the potential to get just about out of draft range. And if Kerry fights Greg, and Kerry does typically pretend to battle as opposed to work together, based on what I'm used to commentating from him. So Nick does have the possibility here of extending his lead out of the draft. So the way that it works in iRacing is you get about a second of draft. So, and then a half second back, you get a little bit less. Like you're still in the draft, but it's not as strong. But you want to be within a second, then you are firmly in the draft. You will gain time on the straights. But it looks like Greg is going to stick right to Nick here, and he is not going to let him get away.
Yeah, he was able to reel in another couple tenths or two after getting through the first turn, so he's well within fighting distance here. And by extension, Kerry is as well, only being 6 tenths back from Greg in second place.
All right, 7 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Nick Drux leads Greg Calabria. Behind him, almost a second back now, is Kerry Nolan, who is going to have to hold off Jacob Green going into turn 1. Behind him, Joseph Essinger, Luke Severance in P6, Kevin Cohen and Jeremy Melton, P7, P8, Slade Russell in P9, and Jim Campbell. He did get stepdaddied hard, I think somewhat deservedly by Lofi, but he is in P10. And I believe that pretty much ended Lofi's race, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if that was a meatball. And seeing the position and on track he is now, I'm assuming he did a pit drive through Orato to get the fast repair.
Yep.
And we're back bunched up, 4-car pack in the lead. Joseph Essinger only looks like under a second back from P4, so he should be well within draft range to catch back up here.
Yeah, that he is. He made up a ton of time here on Luke Severance, and once again, we're going to have 5 people here who are in for a win.
Ooh, but if we look ahead, Nick is not too far back from the 18th position. Good lap cars down. That could make things super interesting for the last handful of minutes in this race.
Absolutely. Greg has made a ton of time up on Nick, and you can see Greg coming right up behind Nick. And Nick is just going to firmly take the inside line here and not give it up. Greg is going to have a look around the outside here. There is traffic ahead, but I don't think they'll catch them. And a little bit wobbly from Greg, and Jacob Green's going to go on the inside, but on the curb. Luckily, they managed to avoid each other, but Nick is safe for now. Yeah, turn 1, turn 4 and 5 and 6 look like they're the scariest in terms of places we've had racing incidents.
Jacob Green taking a look inside on Greg here into turn 5. Won't be able to look quite clear to get to the inside in turn 6 here, so Greg should be able to pull back ahead. But look at the crossover here. But all this is allowing Nick to kind of drive away, but they should be within the drafting range coming to the straightaway.
Yeah, we saw Joseph Essinger and Kerry Nolan go side by side through that part, and that's going to be one of them wide, I believe.
Oh, the pack of lap cars in front of the leader here are battling like their lives depend on it. They were able to make up about 2 seconds. Nick was on that pack, so they're only 2 seconds.
And who is in this pack? Is this this is Keith Gwinnett, Vibe, Alex Lofi, and Jeremy Toasty. All of these guys are quick, so we are going to have most likely traffic.
Yep, a 4-car pack for the leaders to weave their way through.
And they're not going to be able to weave their way through. All of these guys are fast enough to stay with the pack.
Yep, absolutely. And you're going to have Greg throwing dives on Nick, and those guys aren't going to give up. They're not racing for much in way of position here, but they do want to beat each other. That's the one friendly rivalry we have going on in this Academy League. We want to beat each other and do it cleanly.
Yes, and let's be real, Keith Gwinnett is a man who chooses chaos. I don't think he's going to just pull over and be like, okay, guys, let's lead everybody by, but that is going to be Keith wide.
Keith was forced to pull over by Alex Lofi to let the leaders by. But look, Nick is stuck behind 2 lap cars right now.
And we have chaos. Some of these cars are lapped, other cars are not lapped. Looks like Nick and Greg are going to get through.
Yep. Toasty choosing to move to the right to let them pass, which is probably the right move. But we still have a very close 2, maybe 3-car train here, and Kerry also right in it.
All right, so turned out because the 2 of those guys had an issue that we didn't get the chaos we thought we might have with the lap cars, but
we still have 1 lap car ahead that I'm assuming we'll catch. But we're back to that 5-car pack here. We're all within a second of the leader.
Yep. And Toasty and Lofi can pretend they're with the pack. As Greg Calabria is not letting up on Nick Drux, and he has just been glued to his back, and he's got to start to get a little bit anxious, and he might try to move here through the kink. He is going to go side by side and force Nick to take defensively, and you can see how much time that took because Kerry Nolan, who is now off the track, got up to them really, really quickly, and he did save it, but that might just bring the 2 of them out of draft range. I don't think it will in the end.
Kerry pulled a little Houdini there and disappeared for a second, and it caused a little bit of contact. That caused them all to bunch up.
Yeah. Well, when you take the inside like that, you really do have to slow down. And it's unsurprising that it shook out that way. But look at this. We now have a one in almost a 2-second gap now between Greg Calabria and P3. This is a 2-man race.
Yeah, they still have a chance to catch up with the leaders battling here, but I believe we're 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
Crossing the line that time, so I don't know if they'll have enough time here, but we will see.
All right, we're going to try to keep a close eye on both battles here. The battle for first, Nick Drux versus Greg Calabria. The battle for third, Kerry Nolan, Joseph Essinger, Jacob Green, Luke Severance.
Nick now within a second of the lap car Vibe in front of him. I would
Absolutely.
say his full name, but I don't want to get it super wrong. So I'm just going to call him Vibe, which is what everybody else called him.
Narayana Swami, but we all call him Vibe because that's a tough name. As Luke Severance, a little bit of an issue, and that's going to bring him out of the fight for P3. And don't look now, but Kerry Nolan has made up a little bit of time, and he might be able to catch the pack by the end of this lap. I mean, we're about to hit um, white flag here, and right.
Yeah, I think we're going to be one to go crossing the line right here.
And Nick is going to do so with a pretty commanding lead. He's got almost 8/10 up on him.
Yep, and he's in the draft of Vibe right in front of him here, so that kind of negated the pole that Greg would have gotten.
Oh, that was huge. Very unlucky for Greg, but very, very nicely done by Nick to go ahead and take his draft down the straight. That saved him a lot of time. And now the question is, will Vibe hold them up, or will he get out of the way? There's not a lot of places you can really get out of the way. So will Vibe giveth? You know, we say a traffic giveth, traffic taketh. Traffic did giveth there, but will traffic taketh? See,
he is pulling over for the leaders here, but Greg is now within
all right
0.4 of a second.
And here we go. It is, but that was an excellent exit so far by Nick Drux. He's going to continue to gain time ahead of Greg Calabria here, and it's all going to come down to the last corner with Nick 7/10 ahead. I think as long as he, does a good job here, this might be his, but we will see. Greg,
yeah, if he can pretty much just avoid any type of off track, he will, pretty much has this covered.
Yeah, let's take a look. Greg is going to send it through, go a little bit wide, and that is going to go ahead and give Nick Drux the victory over Greg Calabria. The battle for P3 will end with Kerry Nolan a couple tenths ahead of Joseph Essinger, who barely beats Jacob Green. Behind him, that is going to be Kevin Cohen. Going to be Luke Severance behind him. As you can hear the crashing and burning of all of the rest of the cars. That is the CTD tradition there. Well, we thought this was going to be an action-packed race. It was.
Absolutely. I just wanted to kind of go back here and, on my own end, watch Greg get through this last corner. I don't know where the off-track or the track limits are on this turn, but this was fantastic. He was, 0.5 of a second back going into that corner, made it 3/10 in that one turn. It just wasn't enough.
He sent it, and it looked great on the broadcast, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at our race results. Nick Drux, very, very deserved victory here, and he's going to take it over our AM winner, Greg Calabria. Kerry Nolan, very nicely done in third place, followed by Joseph Essinger. Jacob Green in fifth place, followed by Kevin Cohen, Luke Severance, Slade Russell, Jim Campbell, and James Cox. Well, we got one more of these, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We are going to be back for race 2 here in about 10 minutes, so we will see you then. And we are back for race 2. Alrighty.
Alrighty, indeed. It looks like Jim put in another super fast lap. Provisionally pole right now. I don't think anybody has a chance to beat him.
Yeah, I believe all laps are in, so we can go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. So starting us off, Jim Campbell, once again, pole position, and he will be followed by last race winners, Nick Drux. Jacob Green, excellent lap. That's going to put him in P3 next to Kevin Cohen. James Cox. So James is actually a graduate. We hadn't updated the thing yet, so sorry about that, James, but he is going to start P5 next to Luke Severance. Kerry Nolan struggled during qualifying, had a lot of off tracks, just never really got going. And he is going to start P7 next to Jeremy Toasty, who also is a graduate that we hadn't had categorized yet. And then finally, Steve Hill and Joseph Essinger is going to round out our top 10, and we are going to get race 2 underway. Weather is about the same, little hotter. Actually, the weather is quite a bit different. Maybe that's why Kerry was having trouble. It is 91. Nope, it is 67. For 1 second, it showed it was 91 degrees on my screen. It is not. It is 67 with 57-degree humidity. But maybe it was much hotter during qualifying for some reason.
Another surprise in qualifying. Greg P11 after finishing second in the last race. So he's got some work to do.
Yeah.
To get back towards the front in this one. I mean, it's entirely possible with all the chaos that can happen early on in these races, but definitely doesn't make things easy on you to start that far back.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And he's going to have a lot to do. We saw him just right on the back of Nick Drux. That brilliant final turn to try to overtake Drux at the end. Just didn't get it, but super quick. So yeah, that will be one of the storylines of this race is how is Greg and Kerry going to start to claw themselves back. Alrighty, race 2. Once again, we've got a 20-minute race here. We do have a pickup truck that is going to be leading us around. And we should be getting started here pretty soon. Maybe the pickup truck won't start. Just turning it over like Yeah, are we waiting for something?
It says there's still 2 seconds left.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, sorry.
You and I are holding up the server. Everybody else is gridded.
We're not allowed to say ready to race. Yeah, for whatever reason, didn't say that on my ATFO. I forgot it doesn't tell me that. So anyway, we are going to see Jim Campbell once again take us into turn 1 for the first time.
Did Jeremy Melton participate in the last race, or was he just in the lobby? Because he's racing here.
I believe he did. He wasn't able to make progress. He might have got caught up in one of the incidents in the back.
One was big.
But wasn't able to make a dent. But he has been an exceptional MX-5 driver this season. He just showed up after taking quite a long break, hopped in that MX-5, and then pretty much shot right up to 2400. Perhaps enjoying it a bit more than the GT4s.
It seems to be a fairly common opinion. I could slightly disagree, but I might be in the minority on that.
You do like the GT4.
Yeah. I just kind of vibe with it a little bit. The tires, it feels a little boaty. I will give it that. That can be a little annoying through some corners.
So did you drive the GT4 before the tire update?
No. Honestly, no, I did not. Never.
See, I feel like the GT4 drives better in the new tire update, but that just means it's more annoying. And um, I think that if I started the GT4 with the tire update, I would probably like it a lot more too.
Yeah, I did hear a lot of people saying they were having a hard time adjusting to it. When I started, so week 1 of the season 4 of 2025, the first week was Charlotte, and that was when I first started my GT4 career. And a lot of people at Charlotte were saying they just could not keep the car under control while the tires were cold.
Yep.
But, once they warm up, I feel like they drive pretty good.
And that was a very difficult Charlotte track because they had just made a change as the pit truck comes into the race, and we were going to have an immediate start by Jim Campbell. But at the end of the day, it's not a very good one, and Nick Drux is going to take the lead.
We'll see if we can get a push from Jacob here
Yes.
going into 1, but Nick also has Kevin working with him here. So we'll see who gets through turn 1 in the lead.
You can see we're going to have a conglomerate of cars into turn 1. How is it going to go? So far, so good. Last race's turn 1 was good as well. We'll see whether they can keep up these vibes. There is nothing better than just
Ooh, contact for P4 there between Luke and Kevin. Everybody made it through, though.
yeah. So far, so good.
Our pack here for the lead, kind of. We'll see who makes it through. Oh, more contact between Kevin and Luke. Everybody's living so far through going into the S's here.
Yeah, I mean Luke has come all the way up from P6, and he's going to go ahead and take P3 here.
Yeah, there's a lot of door banging going back into the 4 through like 6 position. Joseph and Kevin getting together after all that, but everybody's alive, which is just about the most you can ask for lap 1 of the Miata race.
Absolutely, and so far we have very little separation except for the top 3. Nick Drux, Jacob Green, and Jim Campbell have separated from the field, and we do have somebody going into the gravel behind him, but we have a clean first lap. All right. So we have just a gaggle of cars still. Nobody's really been able to make any headway here. As you can see, we were wondering whether Gray Calabria would be able to come up through the field. So far, he is not. He is sitting in P13, I believe. Also wondering about Kerry Nolan, still sitting in 7th place, but he is having to fight for it from that is Kevin Cohen. Wow, I blanked there. But more importantly, we have Nick Drux with about a 1.2 second lead, and Jacob and Jim are going to have to work together if they want to catch Nick here.
Nick's got the ideal situation. They didn't really leave each other much space going into turn 1, and they slowed them down just enough. I don't think they're quite out of the draft range yet. Looks like Jacob is reeling them back in here going into the final turn.
Yeah, so actually quite a bit.
Should be able to have another close race here. So
all right,
definitely not getting away.
Crisis averted. Nick doesn't just drive off into the distance.
It was close though.
But yeah, we can pretty much be looking anywhere here, but we're going to probably keep it up on this top 3 right here. We're going to see how these packs go through, as Nick Drux is pretty easily going to take turn 1. Back behind them, that is going to be Kerry Nolan and Luke. Also going to take this quite well. Also coming through, James Cox, Steve Hill, Greg Calabria, Chris Gardner, and we're pretty much driving in a line right now. Let's see the battle here between Nick Drux and Jacob Green. Jacob and the Baileys.
Yeah, in the previous race, we did see Jacob get into Jim there and spin him around, which caused the collection with Alex Lofi. So these guys Jim might not be willing to give him a ton of space after that incident. So I'd be kind of willing to waiting to see what happens between the two of these guys. But they do need to work together to not let Nick just drive away from him.
Yeah, and the draft goes literally all the way to the back of the pack at the moment. we just we haven't had any separation. We've had no accidents. We've had nobody really just be able to pull away here. Everybody is sticking with the leaders. You might as well just head into blimp view. So we see.
I was gonna take P2 here, at least attempt to going into turn 1.
No.
Bounce off the curb a little bit, so I don't think he's gonna make it stick.
Yeah.
Jacob will have the inside line going into turn 3.
I believe Jacob is going to maintain the place, and that little move is going to put Luke Essinger right up, or Luke Severance right on the back of wow, why am I blanking here? Right in the back of Jim.
Yep, that's Joseph Essinger, by the way.
It is Joseph Essinger. It is Joseph Essinger. I was right all along.
Taking a deep look.
Whew.
Getting the pass done, and I think he'll be able to make that stick. We'll see about these tricky.
Greg Louganis with the dive, and he will take that position, and that is going to separate them from the top 2.
Wow, that was a very aggressive move pretty early on, but I mean, everybody kind of races these drafting situations differently. A lot of people want to get to the front, but you did see that kind of open the gap up to second place there. I mean, it's not quite out of the draft range yet, but that's the danger you put yourself in by making those super aggressive moves.
Yeah, and, we are seeing that nobody has really, everybody is still in the draft. Everybody is still within a second of each other, all the way to pretty much the back of the pack. And that is just it's making it so hard for people to move up. Greg Calabria is stuck in 12th. Alex Lofi stuck in 11th. James Cox stuck in 9th. Kerry Nolan has made it up to 4th, though. That is nicely done by him. So we saw Joseph Essinger make a very aggressive move on Jim Campbell. Will he be looking to make one on Jacob Green?
I can't imagine he's going to exercise much patience given the opportunity to send it after
Yes.
what we've seen so far.
There was a pretty famous rivalry between Joseph and Michael Goncalves, another one of our graduates, and they graduated about the same time, but they spent all season racing each other very, very hard, and it was really, really entertaining to watch. And Joseph certainly earned a reputation as a hard-nosed driver. Doesn't let anybody get away with anything.
I mean, he's going to have the 2 leaders going into turn 1 here side by side, so it's plenty of opportunity to get right on the bumper of whoever comes out on top of that battle.
And looks like, unless Jacob is able to get a monster on the outside, he's not. He's actually going to be in the grass, and that's going to make him get a bit squirrely, and he's going to lose a bunch of places. Or he doesn't lose a bunch of places, but he does lose some pace. And that is going to be Joseph Essinger right on the back of Nick Drux. And I don't know if Nick has had the Joseph experience yet. We're about to find out.
Yeah, Nick's been pretty defensive, closing off that inside line, going into every really good passing opportunity turn. But Joseph also very aggressive. So I'm excited to see how this kind of plays out.
Oh, man. We have a pack of 6 here. Things are starting to get a little bit juicy.
Bunched back up.
Yeah, behind them we've got Kerry Nolan, Jim Campbell, and Kevin Cohen just waiting for anything to happen. So we've got about 12 minutes to go. No accidents so far. What are we going to do in race review?
Hopefully talk about how good of a race it was.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a commentator's curse there. I mean, we're about to have a bunch of just egregious dives and stuff like that.
Yeah. Can't believe you'd even say anything about it.
But we've got 10 people now in the draft. I mean, we're gonna see whether anybody can really get some pace here, and that is going to be Kerry Nolan and James Cox or Jacob Green side by side, and looks like Kerry's going to get the inside for turn 2. And he will do.
All this battling is just going to allow everybody behind this lead pack to catch back up.
Absolutely.
So we're only 2 seconds back to P7, so that is well within drafting range of the cars in front of them. So it's still anybody's ballgame at this point.
Absolutely, and we can see it. I mean, there goes Nick! Nick and Joseph make contact!
Yep, that'll pretty much take both of them out the race. Joseph deciding to not push the issue any further by driving through. Poor spun out Nick there.
What happened?
They'll find themselves in 11th and 13th respectively.
Uh,
Joseph maybe a little bit of a late braking zone. I'm not quite familiar with the braking points on this track, or maybe Nick possibly, was on the brakes a little early there, and Joseph not expecting it. But that will leave Kerry Nolan Jr. in the lead with Jacob Green behind him. And I know Jacob's going to be hungry for one, so I think he's gonna send it.
Absolutely, and there's also a ton of dirty air when you got a bunch of monsters this close. You're in all sorts of different drafts. It can just be tough to remember how fast you're going. And we're gonna see once again Jacob Green look around the outside. So far, that hasn't really worked out for him, and that's going to be a huge crash in turn one, and that's going to take out James Cox. That's going to damage Greg Calabria. That's going to damage Alex Lofi. And oh my God, there goes somebody right into the abyss.
Christopher Gardner in the pits. Oh
my God!
Together. Jim Campbell and Kevin Cohen. Kevin able to continue on.
Oh, there it is. We are going to have a race review, folks, and
see what happened here.
We made it about 10 minutes in before we started to get some accidents, but that took out a giant chunk of the field. Jim Campbell, Keith Gwinnett, Slade Russell, Greg Calabria can't even see. If we want to take a look at the cockpit view from Greg Calabria, this is Greg view right now.
Yeah, we went from having a 2-second gap from the leader down to 7th place, and now it's a 2-second gap from the leader to... Actually, I'm having a hard time keeping up with that here because all the cars in the pits, but it looks like 4th place now. So I would believe anywhere...
How is Greg doing this?
Yep, so Kerry in the ideal position right now, depending on how you want to look at it. He's going to have Jacob Green with the opportunity to draft going into turn one. And been fairly aggressive all race, but not being dangerous, so that might be good. Oh, Kerry with a little bit packet loss going on there. My screen went black spectating him.
Yeah, so it's happening again. He's disappearing. He's Houdini.
Yep, little Houdini. That we saw that happen last race, and it almost caused a pileup. So if Jacob's going to be getting a run here and have him Houdini off on him, we might wind up with some cars inside of each other, which will be pretty interesting. I mean, didn't see Jeremy Toasty make it through all that chaos. He's sitting in P3 right now. That's a really good spot for him to be.
Jeremy Toasty has caught up to the back of Jacob Green, and now Jacob has to do the attack and defend, which is really, really difficult. Will Toasty work with him? It looks like he might.
Yep, giving him the push here. He's our NASCAR super speedway guy. He calls himself the idiot savant of oval racing. So I believe he has a good idea on how to get around with drafting here. But we have a car accident in the pits. Looks like he's going to pull over and let everybody by. Yeah,
that is going to be James Cox in the Reese's PCs. And yeah, he is just going to send Jacob into turn one. And sure enough, the gap, he is back within the draft. Kerry is not out of the woods.
Yep, he was about a second kind of going into turn one there, and then Jacob's able to make up 3/10 with the help from Toasty, giving him a shove into the corner, and by him not missing his braking points with a little bit of extra speed. That's another skill that I lack sometimes when either in the draft or getting pushed. I don't always account for the extra speed when it comes to the braking zone.
Absolutely. You've got to, not only that, but you have to trust that the guy behind you is going to lift before you brake early.
Absolutely.
4-man race for the lead right now. Kerry Nolan leads Jacob Green. Behind him, Jeremy Toasty and Luke Severance. Luke has been able to stay in the draft, and then he'll make a mistake and fall back a little bit. Let's see whether he is able to catch up, but he does hit the grass, go a little bit squirrely, and that's going to take him a little bit out. So far, it doesn't seem like he's lost too much, though. And that is an excellent, excellent turn 10 by Jacob Green, and he is going to just make up a ton of time on Kerry here. Sure enough, he's going
to try the outside one more time going into one here. I mean, he might be able to make it stick one of these times. He's had a lot of practice at it.
I was about to say he's been practicing quite a bit at it, and it is possible to make it work. Carey's line took him out to the outside, which is pretty much the racing line, and there was nothing there for Jacob. But Jacob is right on him, and Jacob might have a look on the inside of turn 2, nothing doing. But the more pressure he puts on Carey, the more mistake-prone Carey can get. The mental of having a car on your bumper can be just so stressful. And one of the things you got to learn how to do when you start racing Miatas at a higher level is be okay with that.
Yep, that's the one thing we saw Nick Drux do masterfully last race, just under pressure the whole time, and was able to pretty much go mistake-free, and got lucky with the draft on the last lap from the lap car. But other than that, he drove pretty flawlessly, I would say, the whole race, and we'll see if Barry can go another 5 minutes or so under pressure from a somewhat aggressive Jacob Green.
Yeah, he's just sort of like a solid, cool, collected guy. Doesn't seem to get nervous very easily, at least.
The Marble Reds that he's smoking will do that to a guy.
Yeah, I mean, jittery, but clean. And once again, Jacob Green is going to have a look around the outside here. Will it work? Try number 10.
He's going to get a pretty good run here this time. He might have the inside line here going into turn 3.
This is his best. This is his best run so far, and he is going to have the inside here. And how's Carey going to handle this? Oh, nicely done by both of them to stay side by side, and Carey is going to take the lead back. And now Jeremy Toasty is going to be right up in here, and Luke is right behind them.
Yep, Luke able to close the gap back to this lead pack, just from all the battling going on there. Jacob Green got a really good run through turn 1 and 2 on the outside there, but played it pretty conservative for turn 3, which is probably a smart move. To finish first you must finish, as we know.
Yep. And as these guys navigate their way onto the straight, we're going to have a look at the battle for P7, because there is 5 people. That is Joseph Essinger, Alex Lofi, Tyler Dunham, Jeremy Melton, and Vaibhav Narayanaswamy, all fighting for that P7. As you can see, Alex Lofi getting up onto the curb is able to keep the car on the track, and he's going to have a look onto the straight here, and he is going to hit the car in front. There goes Joseph Essinger. Oh, right into the wall, and that's going to be it for Essinger, unfortunately. Meanwhile,
lead heating up once again going into turn 1 here.
Jacob Green in love with the outside.
Yeah, he got quite the run. He was almost able to clear Carey. He could have taken away that inside line if he had just gotten a couple more feet on him, but wasn't able to. But he's going to have the advantage here going into turn 3 again. Let's see if he was able to carry a little bit more speed. Looks like about the same exact result as last lap, but Toasty now going to push Carey and probably be able to take over the second position. We'll see how this plays out. Carey
is driving so well under pressure here, as Toasty almost loses it, but is able to keep his composure. But that outside line into turn 2, you've got the racing line there is to go up on the curb and then onto the other curb. So the fact that they're able to take this side by side, I think Jacob might be overslowing, because he's doesn't want to hit Carey, but Carey has a lot more room to just try to send it, and as long as he keeps it out of the gravel, which he's doing a great job of, it seems to advantage him for the rest of the lap here.
He's going to have to get a little more aggressive. We're coming up on 2 to go here. I don't know. I mean, you can get a really good run through the final turn and get a draft. I don't know if you'll be able to get enough speed to get around before that finish line. So you're going to have to complete the pass before coming out of turn 10, unless something drastic happens. Leaders getting together going into 1 here.
Yeah.
Everybody makes it through.
All right, Groundhog Day once again, side by side with Jacob on the outside. I think this time, though, it will not advantage Jacob in any way, and that's going to bring Jeremy Toasty right up to the leaders.
Toasty thinking about 3 wide here, thinks better of it.
All right, once again, who's going to get the better run? I think it's going to be Carey once again, and that is going to be Toasty through into second place.
We'll see how he can cover off that inside line from Jacob. Jacob's going to run back around to the outside. So I'll have the inside line through this.
Toasty got up onto the corner. Toasty got up onto the curb, and then that's going to make him lose some time. They're going to go side by side through turn 5. That is going to be, once again, Jacob Green staying in second, and we're going to have a really excellent, hopefully, white flag lap here.
Yeah, no lap cars to draft the leader down the main straightaway this time. So
Jacob
Green should have just as good of a run as he's had every other lap this race. We'll see if he can be able to put together a turn 3 to get around Kerry this time. He's going to try the same move.
Yeah, I wonder what line he's going to take around turn 1.
Well, if Kerry's blocking off the inside, I think we had a pretty good guess.
Yes. It would be real funny if he just threw it on the inside here. But that's not the Jacob Green way.
Yep, not able. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, is that going to be Gary Green going around? And he's also blinking a little bit as it happens, and that's going to bring Jacob Green and Jeremy Toasty into this fight for the lead. That's going to be Jacob Green in first.
I cannot believe what I just witnessed here. Jacob Green getting the run here is going into turn 3. Toasty's got a couple more opportunities. Bad turn 3 there from Jacob Green. Toasty's going to try to capitalize.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. This would be a huge victory for Jacob Green. You know, Jacob Green, a 1,400 driver, is fighting against a whole bunch of, like 2,000 level drivers. Luke Severin's also in P3 on the podium, and he's also 1,370. I mean, this could be a very surprising podium. But the real question is who is going to win this race. Right now, it's going to be Jacob Green versus Jeremy Toasty.
Couple turns left to go for Toasty, running out of opportunities. Best bet here is to try to get a run into the final turn.
Oh, my God. It's all going to come down to the final turn. Can Jacob Green nail this turn? Nicely done by Jacob Green. I think he might have it.
That will seal it right there. Not enough time left. What an insane
wow.
last lap.
That is going to be Jacob Green with what has got to be his first win at CTD, and he's going to take it over Jeremy Toasty. And Luke Severin's, I mean, he's pretty new to the league. That's got to be his first podium. Well done.
What an insane final lap. I don't know about you. I'm going to go back and watch that again with Kerry and Jacob Green and Jeremy Toasty to see kind of how that all unfolded.
And while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our race results. Jacob Green, our AM winner and overall winner. A really, really nice drive by him. Just really, really excellent. Deserved win by Jacob, followed by Jeremy Toasty in P2. Luke Severin's on the podium. He's going to take our second AM. Very, very nicely done. Congrats to both Jacob and Luke for really, really doing well against a tough field. Behind him, the always sturdy Kevin Cohen. Steve Hill from pretty much nowhere is going to come all the way up to P5. Behind him, Kerry Nolan, who was fighting for third and then fighting for first, and then finally, unfortunately, having to fall back into sixth. Vibhab Narawanaswamy back in seventh. Jeremy Melton P8, Tyler Dunham P9, and Keith Gwinnett in P10.
Talk about action-packed. These little narrow tracks and Miatas go together like peanut butter and jelly, man. Just a lot of fun racing to watch.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, where are we next week? Do you know?
I do not know. I've not been paying that much attention to this.
I can take a look real quick. I think it's a good one, though. I believe it is Brands Hatch. It is Brands Hatch. So, Brands Hatch.
Track I know well.
An excellent Miata track as well. It is very flowy. It's like a Cambury track, sort of like VIR, and we hope to see you there as we go there. But yeah, for Chris Sierks and CTD, I'm Alex Patterson, and we will see you next week.